Hi everybody, thanks so much for joining me. Stampin' Sue Creates here. We're going to be making tonight a cute little snowman mug rug. These are super cute. The design is from Designs by Juju, I believe. Now I'm second guessing myself. But anyhow, I will put the link down below. A real cute, great simple project for those of you that may be a beginner. And I'm doing it in a 5x7 frame, and the back is kind of done like a pillow design, you know, in that it's, you know, just folded right side out. And like I said, it's super cute. Great way to use up a lot of your scrap fabrics. And I'm doing this on my Brother Essence VE 2300 embroidery only machine. And so let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So I'm a little bit off kilter because it's been a little bit since I've done a video, and I'll talk about that in while it's stitching out. I'm going to go ahead and load it up on my machine, and it does take 32 minutes. And those of you that follow me and watch my videos know that I usually do chit chat throughout it. And if that's not your cup of tea, you can go ahead and fast forward. But if you like to just sit and chat and watch it stitch out with me, then you're in the right place. Let me just readjust you here. I'm using my different holder here. Okay, so I have my 5x7 hoop, and I'm using cutaway stabilizer. Whenever I'm doing a project with fabric, I like to use a cutaway stabilizer. And because of the design of this mug rug, you don't have to use water soluble because you are turning it right side out. All right, so let's get started. I got white thread to just do the outline and my tack down stitch, and white in my bobbin as well. So it's just going to do an outline to show you the placement stitch first. And then I'm going to go ahead. I have a piece of warm and natural batting that I'm going to place down after this, which it pretty much fills the whole hoop up. So you really can kind of pass by these stitches if you'd like to. Okay, so the next one, that's the placement. It's showing you where to place your batting. So I'm going to go ahead and put my batting on here. Kind of flatten it out a little bit. Okay, and let that stitch that out. Oh, I don't know what that was. I wasn't paying attention. Going to go ahead and stitch around it twice. Now what you can do after it stitches the batting, I'm going to do it on this one. I didn't do it on the other one that I created, but you can cut around this batting and remove all the excess. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to see if maybe that makes it a little bit easier to turn it right side out when I'm done. Okay. So let me just do that. I'm going to slide it out, and I'm just going to use my curved scissors to trim around the excess batting. Let me just take it down here. Kind of slippery on here to cut. Just going to trim away this excess. Now you can save all these little scraps of batting if you'd like. I've seen some people use it when they're stuffing their stuffy projects that they make, things like that. Or, you know, you can save it for small projects. Okay. Alrighty, so the next step is going to be, let me put my hoop on the right way, got it all turned around. The next step is going to be an inside stitch, and we're going to be doing some applique now. So it's going to go ahead and stitch out a square to show you where to put your fabric. And I think I'm going to use this blue fabric that I have. And just going to go ahead and cut a piece of this fabric from the scraps that I have. All right. Let me take this, slide this down a little bit so I can see. So I'm just going to cover that stitched area with my piece of fabric here. And then go ahead and stitch that down. I'm going to use that fabric as the backing as well. So I'm just kind of cutting while that's stitching off camera my pieces for the backing. Now if you want to, you really could go ahead. Oh, I'm very close to the edge, but that'll be okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and trim this out. I am kind of close to the edge there, but I think I will be okay. We'll find out, I guess, right? Because when it goes to put it all together, it's going to, well, we'll see. It's going to stitch. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim this out. I'm just concerned about that because that is really on the edge. So you know what? I'm going to play it safe. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take another piece of the fabric and I'm going to stitch over that with another piece. I should have measured, you know, how they say that, what, cut once, measure twice, or whatever that saying is. Let's see. Let's do it this way. Okay, I'm going to put another piece over. It's not going to affect it at all. It's just going to cover over and we're going to restitch it. Let me put it back in. And then what I want to do is go over to where it's the plus or minus. And I'm going to minus back and go back to the previous one and let it stitch down this piece. And I'll trim that out. This way, better to play safe than sorry. I mean, rather than go through the whole thing of making this and then find out that the seam isn't, you know, covered. This is a way you can correct if you kind of made a little boo-boo. But pretty much anything you do, if you make a mistake, you can fix it. You know, unless it's totally jammed up or something. But other than that, it should be pretty much easy to fix. And then we'll trim that out and we'll go on our merry way, right? But this is a cute design. Mug rugs are a great way to start if you're brand new to machine embroidery. I pretty much started with mug rugs, and I'm going to apologize. I'm not going to say every time because I know I'm going to continue to hit the camera because it's in a different stand than normal. And if you watch my other videos where I used my new holder, I continue to hit it all the time. I'll have to find a different position for it, but for right now, I want to make sure you guys can see everything I'm doing. Okay, let's put that back into the machine. So the next step is going to be a design on the background, and I think I'm just going to leave in the white thread. And it's just going to make a background design. That's my cat Dory. Okay, so you could see it. It's almost reminds me of like little snowflakes. Dory, she is looking for attention. My goodness, what is going on tonight? I know. Okay, so this whole stitch out is 16,531 stitches, and like I said, it takes about 32 minutes. This little design on here is going to take 7 minutes, and it's a lot of applique, which I love applique work because it then you don't have a lot of additional stitching with the embroidery part because you're laying down fabric, and the fabric is taking the place of fill-in stitches. So anyhow, many of you may be wondering, and I know I've had some comments, are you going to come back and do videos? Well, yeah, I had to take a little reprieve. I was sick. I don't think it was COVID, but I don't know. Some sort of sore throat kind of thing, and then, I don't know, it ended up being a GI problem, and I was out of work for a couple days, and we had like a little bit of a snowstorm here for Martin Luther King Day. I've been working on a project, and I wanted to finish that up before I got started on anything else. And I am going to do a quick little video to show that because I'm very proud of it. But I don't want to upload that video until the person I made it for, I give it to them, just in case they follow me here on my channel. But then I had, my aunt had passed away, which was my mother's sister, and she was the last of the siblings. So Tuesday was her viewing, and then yesterday was her funeral. So I've kind of been between that and being sick and, you know, just everything going on emotionally. I wasn't able to do videos, and so I want to thank you for your patience. And as many of you may know, I do have a full-time job, and YouTube is kind of a hobby, kind of part-time. It brings in a little bit of extra income, which, I mean, who doesn't need that right about now, right? And I do appreciate you all watching and leaving your really nice comments. Subscribing if you want to help me to promote my channel. I would really love that. And I do enjoy doing videos. Like I said, I am not an expert by any means, but I do like to share what I'm making and show you how to just, if you want to stitch along with me, or maybe sometimes people watch just because they enjoy the chit chat and the company, and I can relate to that. You know, if you don't have a whole lot of activity going on in your house, sometimes it's fun to kind of sit back and, you know, listen to somebody tell you about their days, although I don't really have a whole lot, you know, information, but, you know, I share what I can. And Dory is still looking for attention. But this makes a real pretty background stitch. Now, this isn't saying you can't take this design and do something else with it. You can bypass a lot of this even background stitching and go right to the snowman, and you know, put that on a shirt, a little child shirt maybe, or a little tote bag, or, you know, you can use parts of a design and create something else. So when I saw this, of course, I love snowmen, and I'm not a big fan of the snow, but I knew I had to do this. The other designs that I purchased online were the chicken designs. And if you follow me and you want to see some of the projects that I've done, you can check me out over on Facebook at Sweet Bee Embroidery, and that's capital SUE, and then WEET, and then the next word is B as in BEE, embroidery. I'll put that typed in down below in the comments, so you can go ahead and follow me on my page there. I like to share a lot of information on there. And I have to grab my tea for a second. My cat's up on the top of the back of my chair. Oh my goodness. Okay, there, she jumped down. Let me grab my tea because my throat gets very dry from talking, and my house is very dry in the wintertime. Okay, that works. My house is like very old, and it has all the hardwood floors in it, and I think, because of, the furnace and the hardwood floors and the heat turning on, it just gets very dry. Because I know at night, I don't know how many of you use a humidifier at night, but I'll tell you, I got to use that at night. Otherwise I wake up in the morning and it's just way too dry. But the other mug rug I did, when I did the background, you really can't tell on the background with the design, but on this kind of solid mishmash color, you really could see it well, and I'm really pleased with it. Okay, so once this is done, then we're going to start working on the snowman. And I'm kind of glad I used the white thread. I really like how it shows up. The snowman is going to cover a lot of this design, but it'll still be peeking out from the background. You can also take this mug rug design and not stitch it as a mug rug, and don't put the backing on it, and go ahead and make like little quilt squares, or you can make it into like a mouse pad, or you could make a whole bunch of these and sew them all together with some fabric in between and make a little table runner even. I mean, it doesn't say you have to make it into a mug rug. Okay, so next thing what we're going to do, so now whenever you see a design where there's like a line, okay, it's just going to stitch a line. That means that you're going to be adding a piece of fabric to it. So we're going to be stitching a line right here, and then we're going to be adding fabric, and it's going to do it on both sides. So let's go ahead and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And I'm still trying to decide which fabric to use. I'm thinking I'm going to use the blue. I think the blue. Okay. So I'm using a jelly roll that I have here, and a lot of designs, when they're smaller like this, you can get away with using jelly rolls, because this isn't going to take a whole lot of fabric. And I just want to cut this, and then I'll cut one for the other side as well. But this is actually a jelly roll that I won from Creative Notions, and it's actually a dragonfly one, but it's going to work really well with this. Okay, so the stitch is there. So then what you want to do is you want to align up this fabric. Let me pull this out a little bit. Align up this fabric, covering that stitch line just a little bit. Okay, so you want to pull it forward like this, like so. And then it's going to stitch it again. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take your fabric and pull it down. Okay, and flatten it out, and then it's going to stitch that down. And that's going to make your edges. Okay, then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fast forward through to the other side, and then I'll come back, and then there's decorative stitches that go in there, but rather than having to thread and rethread and whatnot, I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, then I'll go back and do the inside stitches. So it's going to do the same thing over here. Okay, so now this time you want to put your fabric on this side of the stitching. And I think I'm going to do gold highlights in there. So now it's going to stitch it down, and then you're going to fold it back like we did before to cover your batting. Okay, so then you're going to take your fabric and fold it back. And kind of press it down with your finger and stitch that down. Now you don't have to go ahead and do the extra stitching on the inside, but I think it makes a nice decorative touch to it. Okay, and I think I'm going to use a gold color. All right, let me change my thread. Okay, where is the thread? So whenever you cut your thread, when you have to change to a different color, cut it at the top and then pull it through the bottom like as though you were how it's threaded, because you don't want to backtrack your thread. Because what will happen is sometimes it could get jammed in there, you ruin your tension, goof that up a little bit. We don't want to do that. Okay, so while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and let it do the background stitching. And then we'll go back and do the other side. This is just going to put some decorative stitches along here. Oh yes, I like the gold. Now, gold metallic thread on here would be really pretty. Oops. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the other side to complete that background stitching. So I'm just going to go back. Okay, now it'll do this stitching on this one. This way it doesn't make me have to change the thread and go back to the thread and change the thread. You can do things like that when it's simple things. If you're doing an applique, I wouldn't change the way that you do it, because a lot of times the applique design is set up in a way that, you know, certain parts of it cover other parts. So if you're not yet a subscriber, I really would appreciate you helping my channel out by hitting that subscribe button. Next to the subscribe button, you'll see a little bell, and if you click on that bell, you'll be able to select all, and then you'll be notified when I upload all new videos, so you won't miss a thing. Be sure to go back and check out my playlist for machine embroidery videos, and it will bring up all the videos that I've done on my channel. Okay, so now I have to remember I have to go forward. So we did that, we did that, we did that. And then the next step is going to be the scarf. And I think I'm just going to leave the gold thread in there. Oh, okay, hit the wrong button. Foot down. Okay, so it's going to do the outline where the scarf is going to go with the scarf fabric. And I have another piece of this jelly roll, which I think would be really pretty to do the scarf. It's a green fabric. It kind of resembles the blue fabric. Now, I'm going to bring this forward to myself so I can see where that is, so I make sure I don't miss any of it. Okay, so this fabric is from the same jelly roll. And now it's going to stitch it down. So this is the part where it's called applique. And then we're going to trim it out. And this is going to be the scarf of the fabric. I mean, scarf of the design. And I think I'm going to leave the gold thread in there. Okay, so now I'm going to take this out and I'm going to trim around with my scissors around the applique part. As close as you can, but not cutting any of the stitches. So it helps sometimes if you pull it up like this and you cut around. Oh, and I see the next part is going to be the snowman. So I am going to, the snowman head, the white part of the snowman. That's what I'm trying to say. So I think I will go back to the white thread. And normally I would take this over to my desk and trim it because it's very difficult to trim on here, but okay. All right, let's put that back in. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to change my thread. I'm going to keep the gold handy because I think I'm going to use that again. And we're going to go back to white thread. Let me thread my needle with that. So these are really fun to make, and they make great gifts. You can go ahead and go to the Dollar Tree and pick up a mug. If you have like a Cricut machine or something like that, you can even decorate the mug with a snowman on it, or buy a snowman mug and have a nice little coordinating gift. So this is going to be the white part of the snowman. Now, because I've done this before in the past and I'm going to use just plain white cotton, what I decided to do is double up on here. Now, if you don't want this to show underneath, if there wasn't any stitching in here, you can go ahead and cut that inside out. But being that there's stitching there, I'm just going to go ahead and take this. I'm going to go this way because there's that fold in there. Take this fabric and double it up, so this way you won't see that blue peeking through. And then we're going to go ahead and cut that out as well. Okay. All right, we're going to take our scissors again. And we're going to trim out the white piece. Okay, so if you're ever doing that and you find you have little pieces of fabric, get yourself a little lint roller and run your lint roller over the top of that. That will pick up all those little scraps of fabric. That won't get stuck in your design. Okay, so next it's going to outline the hat. And I'm thinking I'm going to use this red for the hat. All right, so let me see where that is. All right. This is way too much, but it's just a piece that I have here. So I'm going to use this for the hat. I think the red and the green with the contrast of the blue is going to look really nice. Okay, a little more applique. So take the hoop out again, and I'm going to go ahead and trim this. Sorry, Dory, when I'm done, then I'll be able to snuggle with you. She's just very needy tonight. I don't understand why. She's not normally like this. I mean, she sometimes is, but she's especially tonight. And I don't know why. She has this one cat food that I bought her. I always have hard food for her, but I have this soft, wet food. And it started off, I bought it for her like as a treat. And then it ended up where every time I'd go into the laundry room where her food dish is, excuse me, she would be like screaming that she wanted it. So she kind of got into the habit of always getting it. Now it's going to do the little pom-pom, and I'm going to use a yellow for that. And then I think our applique is pretty much done. Oh, my thread came undone. Let's just go ahead. Sometimes that happens when you're pulling the hoop out, in and out like that. Oh. I have to find that little scrap that I had for the... All right, let me stitch this while I look. Let me go back. Seem to have lost my little yellow piece. All right. Let me, where did I put that fabric now? I had a little tiny yellow piece. Let me just pick up these fabric pieces. It might have just gotten stuck in there. Oh yes, it fell on the floor. That should be the first indication whenever you can't find a piece, is look on the floor, right? All right, let me go ahead and put this piece on the top. trim this out, and then we are done with all of our applique. Now it's just going to be all of your stitches that go around everything. I think it would have been nice if I had like a gold piece of fabric, but that'll do. All right, back into the machine, and we're going to stitch around the scarf. So I want to go ahead and put that gold thread back in because I think that would be really pretty. All right, so now it's going to do the satin stitches going around. And I'm thinking around the hat I'm going to go with red. And I could go with the gold around that little tassel. I think that's my plan. Oh, I like the gold. So we're more than halfway done here. So anyway, I hope you all have been doing well. I live in the part of the United States in northeastern Pennsylvania, and it's been bitterly cold. We had a really nice day yesterday. It was in the 40s. So a lot of the snow was starting to melt. We had an ice storm not too long ago, last Sunday, and then we had a snowstorm this Sunday. So there's quite a lot of pack of snow and ice on the ground. And it was nice, but today when I went to work in the morning, it wasn't too bad. And then they said as the day went on, it was going to get much colder, and it was pretty much in the 20s when I left work. And tonight it's supposed to go down to 0. So the heating bill is going to be a little bit high this year, I think, because it's only January. And here we are, you know, already we've had a lot of cold temperatures here in the Northeast. And I'm not looking forward to that. I'm already waiting for spring. So I hope wherever you are in the country that you're nice, warm, snuggled in. And batten down the hatches for this winter, which has started off with quite a bang in comparison to previous years. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and a lot of times I have a lot of problems with my hands because of the job that I do. And when the cold weather comes, it really wreaks a lot of havoc on my joints and my hands. So the cold is not very favorable if you have arthritis. At least for me, it's not. And then I'm always worried that I'm going to fall on the ice somewhere. Oh, it's terrible. You would think after living here all my life that I'd be used to it, but I guess as you get older, the weather really affects a lot of components of your joints and things like that. But I really like the gold on this scarf. I really think it really gives it a nice pop of color. Okay, let's see. Where are we going next? Next, we're going to do the white. So it's going to be on the bottom of the snowman head. So we can take out the gold thread for now and go ahead and change to white. White is kind of a staple thread that I use a lot. You know, if it's something that's not going to be seen, a lot of times I just leave the white in there. and you know, just go ahead and use that. Okay, so now it's going to go down around the bottom of the snowman head and do a nice satin stitch. But the other day when I was working on that other project that I've been doing, I thought, can you imagine if you had to, excuse me, and I know a lot of people do, they do all the paper piecing, you know, with sewing. I'm not really into that. If you are, God bless you, because you would have to be doing all of this applique, you know, with something like that. To think that this machine does this all on its own is really, for me, it's very magical. To think, you know, the biggest thing you have to worry about is your fabric selection, and it's kind of like, you know, whatever suits your eye is the way you go with it. But I really do love making these. I'm excited to make the chicken placemats. I made a chicken mug rug. I didn't do a video on it, but I have it posted on my Facebook page, the chicken mug rug that I did from Designs by Juju, and that came out super cute. There's this little piece here where I want to trim. Sometimes you see something and you're just like, oh, I just want to trim that. Okay, so next it's going to do, I have to change my thread again. And we're going to do the red part on the hat. Do I have my red right here? And I think the red will look nice. Then we'll go back to gold on the little pom-pom. And the little facial features. And put the back on, and we'll be done with this in no time. So I hope you're still sticking in there with me. Like I said, if you don't want the chit chat and you want to fast forward through, totally fine by me. But just make sure you stay to the end so you see the finished project. And if you're stitching along with me, then that's great. Let me know. Let me know what you think. I'm going to stop this here because I see a piece of thread right there that I want to cut. There. But I will post a picture of this. I'll have this as my thumbnail. And of course I'll share it over on my Facebook page. And there's a couple groups I belong to, and I always share everything on there too, because everybody wants to see what you're working on. You know, and unfortunately, that's what gets me into trouble, is when I see somebody worked on a certain project and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to make that, and I have to go buy the design. I have more designs, I think, to last a lifetime of embroidery stitching. But it's just a lot of fun. And it's fun to see everyone's fabric selection and how different everything looks depending on what type of fabric you use. So this one's going to be 6 minutes because there's quite a lot of stitching going around the hat and the little brim on it, and then it goes and it uses the red on the tassel part of the scarf, which is I really love how the stitches are on that. And now I hear my heat coming on. It must be getting cold outside. Colder. And my poor mailman, I mean, I don't know if they have people that are filling in or what. I think it was 6:30 when he was bringing the mail. It's like pitch black outside, and I saw something outside and I'm like, what is that light? And here the poor guy has like a headlamp on, I guess so he can see to walk up and down the street and deliver the mail. I felt so bad for him because it's so cold and dark out and 6:30 at night and he's still delivering the mail. Well, if you're a postal worker, God bless you. All those delivery people, UPS, Prime, FedEx, and all the private companies that do delivery. It's a busy time this past 2 years. I mean, I know I give them a lot of business. I order a lot of stuff online. Only because I just don't want to be going out in public with, you know, all this virus going on, and every day it seems like there's, you know, flu or this or that, or, you know, it's just scary. So if you could stay home and stitch or craft, or, you know, order your items online. I even do my groceries online and just go and pick them up, which I just did that today too, so I have to go Saturday to pick up my groceries. I mean, I think I save money that way, and I stick to my dietary restrictions because I only am getting what I picked, you know, and you're not in the store seeing something that you're like, ooh, you know, snack wise, I want to get that, or I want to get that. This way, you stick to your plan, and I really do enjoy doing that. And then it gives you more time to stay home and stitch, right? Because you're not having to go to the store and pick everything out. And I have to say that even, you know, a lot of people were worried because of the, you know, produce and that, or the meats, you know, are they going to pick out good selection? I mean, I'm not very picky when it comes to that. I know I have a couple friends that said, oh no, I want to pick out my own, you know, my own vegetables and my own fruits and that. That doesn't bother me. Somebody else picks it out. I mean, I've never been dissatisfied with what they chose, so I'm pretty good with that. Okay, we're almost done with the hat, and then we're going to do the fringes on the scarf, the facial features, and once this part is over with, this is a long stitch out to do around the scarf. So let me know, what do you think? What, you know, do you have an embroidery machine? Please leave in the comments. I'd love to know, you know, are you going to stitch out this design? You're going to check it out. It's really cute and makes great gifts, and it's good for all winter. Okay. Oh, it's calling for white, but it's going to do that. Okay. I'm going to go back to the gold. I thought it did the fringe, but maybe it goes back and does that later. Because it does give you suggestions on colors, but depending on what fabric you're using, you may not want to do white on there. And I don't. I'm going to do gold to go around the little end of the hat. The little pom-pom, I suppose that's what it's supposed to be. Oops. All right, here we go. Oh, that looks nice. What do you guys think? I think my cat's giving her opinion. Oh, now my dog is in here too. Everybody's in here now. Okay, now it's going to do the fringe, so I guess we could have fast forward like I did before and did the one part and then the other, but that's okay. I'll just change the thread. You get to be a pro at threading your machine when you do projects like this. Oops. I really like the way the fringe on the scarf is designed. I think it's really unique how it stitches out. It goes back and forth quite a few times, and it really does look like fringe. What, Dory? Hi, Aurora. It's getting late already. They're probably getting ready for bed. 9:30. I have a, you might have, if you follow me here on YouTube, I do a Facebook Live Thursday nights, and I started incorporating Tuesday nights as well. So I've already done my Facebook Live, which I'm uploading as we're doing this, and I've been up here now in my craft room for a little bit. And I think the animals are kind of like, okay, are you coming downstairs? What have you done with our mother? But I thought I would pop and do this video. I have a follower that was like, are you going to do the snowman rug? And I was like, well, so I just kind of felt like I wanted to do some embroidery tonight too. So I hope this kind of fills the void from my missing in action for a little bit. Isn't that nice how the scarf fringe is done? The stitches, I think it looks really nice. I suppose I could have done it in gold as well, but I think the red really pops. Kind of matches the hat. Thought the gold might just kind of blend in a little bit, but I like the red. Okay. Now we're going to work on the facial features of the snowman, and this is what really brings him to life. Or her. Okay, first off is going to be black for the eyes. So I'm going to have to order a new black cone of embroidery thread soon, because I'm seeing it's getting a little low. Like I said, I have difficulty with my hands, so you'll have to just bear with me here while I try to get the thread. All right, let's do the eyes. will do orange. Let me grab my orange for the carrot nose. And if you don't know, if you need thread or you need any type of embroidery products, I have currently through Thread Nanny a code where you can save yourself 20% off your purchases by using the code Susan. I think it's Susan 20. I'll put that down below as well. And you can save yourself 20% off all of your embroidery needs through threadnanny.com. I'll put that down below in the comments as well. The special's only running through, I believe, January 26th of 2022. So if you're in need of supplies and you want to save yourself a little bit of money, that's the way to go. All right, that was the orange. Next, we're going to do a light pink for the cheeks. And let me grab that. I love the thread from Thread Nanny. A lot of the threads I'm using here tonight are from Thread Nanny. My machine likes them, so you can give them a try and see. They have stabilizers and all sorts of other kind of notions and things that you may need. Oh, that didn't thread for all your embroidery projects. There we go. All right, let's do our cheeks. And then there's a little smile. Two more steps and we'll be done. We'll do the little smile, because of course we have to have a happy snowman, right? And then we'll do our backing and trim it out and we'll be done. Go back to white thread. I could use the black, but I think I'm just going to do white. And I'll put our backing on. Now this is the part if you wanted to take this and turn this into something else. You just wouldn't put your backing on, and you could do a bunch of these and make them into little squares, rectangles, and make something else out of it. Okay, so what we're going to do for the backing is we're going to take two pieces of fabric and we're going to fold them, and we're going to put the raw edges to the sides. Okay, so, and you're going to kind of overlap them. So fold it over, raw edges to the side and overlap. Let me take this out a little bit so I can see better. And you're going to lay that on top. your best thing to do would probably be to iron these pieces. Then you wouldn't be struggling like I am here. Let me take this right out of the hoop and I might get a better shot at it here. Okay, so your raw edges are toward the outside and your folded edge is toward the center. Just like so. Make sure that's going to cover. Okay. Now you want to be careful when you're doing this because you don't want your foot to get caught in where that fold line is. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so when it goes down this way, it's going to be okay. But if it has to back up, I'm going to stop it here and I'm going to flatten this out a little bit. But when it goes over to the other side is where you have to be careful. Okay, I'm going to stop the machine right about there. Now if you, because you want to make sure the foot doesn't go like up underneath this. So if you hold in this green button, the machine will go real slow. Oh, okay. Now I'm going to lift the foot. It kind of went a little further. Let me lift my needle. Okay. I'm going to go back a few stitches. Okay. And put the foot back down. Oh, I should have cut my thread. Okay, I'm going to lift the foot because you don't want it to get caught in there. You can always use a piece of tape. If you wanted to. Okay, I can see where that might get stuck there. If you put a piece of tape over that, you know, that will prevent that from possibly happening. And I'm just going to keep my finger near this green button in the event I have to stop it again, but I should be okay once it went through once. But just in case, I'm just going to go real easy over it. I'm going to hold the green button in so it takes small stitches until it clears that, and then we'll be good to go. Okay. And there you go. Wait for the sound. Okay, and you're finished. You can go ahead and take it out and take it out of your hoop. And everybody always wants to see the back, so there's your back. And there's that. So now what you want to do is take your scissors and cut around, which I usually do this over at the desk, but I'll do it here. And when you come to your corners, kind of go at an angle, like so. And cut all the way around. Kind of close to your stitching, but not into the stitching. Okay. And then all you have to do is you want to turn this, excuse me, right side out. Carefully. And this is usually where that little purple thing comes in handy. Turn it the right way out. I just kind of like to take my finger and poke it in the corners. And then this little purple thing, I use the flat end Or you can use a bone folder. I really like using my bone folder for this, because you don't want to use your scissors or anything, because you risk the chance of possibly poking right through your fabric. And once you've done that one time, you've learned your lesson. Okay. So you just want to be gentle, but poke out those corners. Flatten it out. You may have to go back in there and poke a little more. Like that. And flatten it out. And there you go. There is your completed snowman mug rug. Isn't he cute? Trying to show it so you can see. I think he turned out very, very cute. And he just would be perfect as a gift or for yourself on your desk to protect your desk from whatever drink that you have available. And I hope you've enjoyed this. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you know of anyone that would enjoy seeing this, be sure to share this video. I'd really appreciate that by helping support my channel. And that helps me know that you are interested in my videos. And I will continue to make more and more videos to share. So thanks so much, everyone. Please be safe out there. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.